What's up, everybody? How's it going? Austin Prechtel, Prechtel Elevate Performance, coming at you live. It's Thursday. It was check-in day. It was a beautiful fucking check-in day. And today, I'm going to be talking about something that a lot of people don't want to hear, and that's okay because, I'm going to be the one to tell it to you because I don't give a shit about your feelings. I just want to help you get results. And sometimes you gotta be told what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And this holds true for this, like, so freaking hard. It's not even funny. And what I'm talking about is, you know, not being able to afford a healthy lifestyle, or not being able to afford to start a fitness journey, or to not be able to afford hiring a coach or whatever. And I'm here to tell you that, like, most people can. Like, yes, there are some, extremely specific scenarios where, like, there are people out there who just can't afford it, and that's a reality situation. There's some people who can barely afford to feed their families and other things. I'm not ignoring that. I'm not saying that that's not a thing. But what I am saying is that for, like, a majority of Americans, especially, you can afford to have and live a healthy lifestyle, or definitely a healthier lifestyle than what you're currently living. And so, sorry about that shit. And so, because of that, I want to talk a little bit about some stuff like, trying to maybe change your way of thinking about, what it costs to actually have to pursue a fitness journey, and to, like, actually, like, do the things that you want to do and say that you want to do. But then when the time comes and, you always try to, have some sort of, like, money objection for whatever that thing is regarding your fitness journey. And I'm not just saying, like, hiring a coach. I'm also saying for, like, eating healthier food, or getting a gym membership, or investing in something that's going to, improve your life health-wise or fitness-wise. And so what happens is like honestly, like so many people, it just comes down to, like, money management, and also recognizing stuff that you're already spending a shit ton of money on, like, all the time, because you've been conditioned to do that already. I'm not saying, like, you got conditioned by, like, big government or whatever to like get you to do these things, but you're doing them, and they're things that, like, aren't necessities, that you could definitely, like, do without. Like, you'd be just fine, like, not doing these things, but because you're, like, spending money on them, and you've been doing that for, like, 10, 15 years, if not more, you're, like, in the habit of spending money on these things. And people hate talking about money. Like nobody likes talking about, like, people, they're always like, shh, don't talk about money. And I'm going to talk about money because, you, like, money is, like, literally just, like, an abstract, like form of your time. Like, you trade your time, your life, like, how little time, like, the amount of time you have on this, like, in this life, you're trading it to work on things for money. So your money is, like, this weird, like, abstract form of your time. So people put time towards things, like fitness, going and doing random things, like, like eating out, vacations or whatever. And so I want to talk about that a little bit because, like, it's one of those things, like, people constantly say, like, they can't afford to do these things. But that's not true. Like, you can totally fucking afford to do these things, but you're just not willing to give up other things that you're doing currently, so that way you can do the things that you should be doing if you actually want to pursue your fitness goals. And it comes down to, like, recognizing that and actually changing something about it so that way you can. And so, like honestly, like, if, like, let me know if any of these things ring a bell with you. Like, if you're somebody who's, like, you want to go on a fitness journey, or you want to lose weight, or you want to do these things, live a healthy lifestyle, and you're saying that you can't afford it, but you're, spending money on, like, makeup every month or every week or every, however long you're spending makeup or money on expensive ass makeup. And, that's something that you could either, spend less money on by not buying it, or buying cheaper versions of things, in order to try and, do that, try to save money. makeup, if you're spending money on that like regularly, like you don't need that. You know, it's one of those things, and so I'm just kind of go through a list here, like like buying new outfits and clothes every month or every other month. Like you don't need that. Like your other clothes are perfectly fine. Shopping, Prime Day just ended. Buying a bunch of random shit on Amazon that you don't need, that you like. Do you really need it? Probably not. Like doing that, like I know a lot of people, like they like whenever they get sad or like they go through like a rough patch, like they do retail therapy. They just buy a bunch of shit that they don't fucking need on Amazon or online. And if you're feeling attacked right now, like, I'm sorry, like, it's just one of those things. It's like you're like not making your fitness a priority. Like you're not, like you're prioritizing other things that aren't going to actually make you happy in the long run. Versus because you're trying to go for that short term, like quick fix, happy dopamine rush. And so, things like that, like buying coffee. If you're buying coffee, especially if you're buying coffee from like Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, like every day or every other day, that's a shit ton of money that you are spending every day or every other day, like that you could be spending, like saving and putting it towards your fitness goals. Like people are always like, oh, I don't have enough money to buy like, healthy foods and things like that. Oh, but you had enough money though to like fucking buy that large venti white chocolate mocha from Starbucks. Like, it comes down to priorities and what you like, truly care about and what you value and what you actually want. And if you're not willing to give up, like, like you can still have coffee every day. Like you can still have coffee every day, but just buy your own and make your own at home and take it with you. Like you can save so much money that way that if you add it up, like your average like Starbucks drinks like between like $4 and like $8. Like take that times like 5 or like 7, depending on how many times you're going, and that's a shit ton of money every week. And times that times 4, that's even more money per like month. Like how much you're spending on that shit. And it's just like, and that is taking you, and this is the other thing too, is like you're spending money on things that's taking you further away from your goals instead of actually like investing in something that's going to take you closer to it and ultimately save you money in the long run. Because especially when it comes down to like, planning like your meals and things like that for a fitness journey, like, or weight loss journey, things like that, like you're going to find that like, especially if you do like meal prepping and things like that, like you're going to save yourself a shit ton of money buying and cooking in bulk, or even like, even just like being like smarter about where you're putting your money towards when it comes to your, like the foods that you eat. Like people are always like, I can't afford, and I'm going to do a live on this like later this week or maybe even this weekend, like a surprise one. It's not going to be a surprise now, I guess, but on, is eating healthy like really like, more expensive than is it too expensive or is it more expensive? And like it's really not, depending on like what you're considering like eating healthy. Like it's not like it's not more expensive to eat healthy, and honestly it's actually cheaper. Not to ruin why, and I'll explain why that is later, whenever I do that live. But it's not like, if you're being smart about it, it's not more expensive to eat healthy. And so that's one of those things where it's like you are spending money on things for like short-term, like happy short-term happiness that's going to make you that's going to make you feel even more disgusted with yourself probably in the long run, or like not, like you're trading short-term happiness for long-term happiness because you're not like, looking at the bigger picture, or you are and you don't care and you're not like, taking it seriously enough and not making it a priority. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. Because if you're eating out like more than like between like 1 to 2 or 3 times a week, like that's a shit ton of money that you could be saving. That's taking you further away from your goals. If you're spending money on, booze and going out and partying on the weekends or like during the weekday, like once or twice a week, that's a ton of money. Like that's like at least like for most people like $50 a night, like at least, like sometimes even more. Sometimes people are like, not willing to spend money on good healthy food for themselves or like a gym membership, but they're willing to like blow like, $100 or $200 a weekend on fucking booze, which is making them even fatter and sadder and like, feeling like shit and messing with their routine, like their week and everything like that, because like they're hungover and things like that. It's like you see like the difference between investing in something that is conducive to your goals and brings you closer to your goals versus spending money on things that are bringing you even further away, and then you end up complaining more about like why you're not like seeing results, or why you're not like able to do like what you want to do, and you're spending money on that kind of shit, or you're spending money to get your hair dyed every month, and you're like that shit's expensive. That shit's so expensive, and people are conditioned to like go for those things that make them feel like temporarily like happy or pretty or like, you know, attractive or whatever in their mind, but it's short term. It's so short term, and it's so like temporary that like the color fades, the nails fall off, the whatever, like it's temporary. And I'm not saying like you shouldn't do those things if because you enjoy them, but I'm saying like, you know, do them less, or like focus on fixing like, you know, what, like because that's, like I said, that's just a temporary like fix. Like you're just fixing like the outside, and you're not working on like long-term solutions to fix, you know, what's going on the inside. And a lot of times, like, you know, once you start working on those things that are on the inside, like, you know, your feelings, like emotionally, mentally, like physically, like those inner workings of like of your mind and your emotions and things like that, like you're going to be a hell of a lot happier with yourself, and you're going to be a lot more confident, and you're going to feel like way better about yourself, and you're going to have like what you're wanting all along from these like things that you're doing for like, you know, buying jewelry and hair dye and things like that. Like, and I'm not just picking on like women or like the ladies out there, or like the men that like doing that stuff too. Like I'm just saying like these are some things. Like guys spend money on stupid shit all the time too, like video games, or like, you know, fixing parts of their car, or like upgrading parts of their vehicles, or like buying like random stupid shit, booze too. Like that's just stuff like that are not necessities and are not conducive to your goals that you supposedly have. And you just got to have and it comes down to like having a really like honest conversation with yourself about what's important to you and what's not. You know, like you can, but you're lying to yourself. If you're going on Facebook or like Instagram or social media, or talking to your grandma or your mom or whatever, and complaining about how you just can't lose weight and how you're unhappy with yourself and where you're at right now in life with your physique and your body and your mental and all that stuff, like when you're like shooting yourself in the foot and doing the exact opposite of what you like say that you want to do, because you're not making it a priority. Like that's just what it comes down to. Like you have to be honest with yourself, because every time that you like, if you're not, and you're just like aimlessly and mindlessly complaining about how unhappy you are with where you're at, but you're going out and like spending a shit ton of money on random shit that isn't like conducive to your goals, you know, you got to sit down and think about that and be honest with yourself. Like, is this something that you're like seriously wanting? Or are you just like, and I've said this before, are you just like being an actor inside of your head in this play that you're like romanticizing about like going on a weight loss journey and things like that? Or do you actually want to fucking do it and make it a priority? Like, are you just going to be an actor in your head, or are you going to take action? You know? And I'm sorry to say it, but if you know, take a real hard look at yourself and what you're spending your money on, and, you know, putting and investing in, you know, you're going to probably find that you're investing in shitty things that are going to make you feel shittier in the long run, rather than something that's a long-term investment for your health and your like relationships and your mindset and things like that. And it's like, you know, I'm not even saying like just like in terms of like hiring me or whatever. Like I'm talking about like there's so many other things, like invest in like learning about stuff, like invest in like, you know, making yourself a better person that can help you like, you know, level up your life in general. Like, you know, because that's kind of what it kind of comes down to. Like it's really just like, I don't know, like it's one of those things that it's frustrating, because it's like I realize what people spend their money on in that in ways that aren't conducive to their goals. But it's like when other people don't like realize that, or you point it out to them, and then they're like, they have, and it's normal, it's natural. Like people don't like being wrong. Like people don't like being like proved wrong. People don't like being like wrong in general. Like they just like I don't like being wrong. I hate being wrong. But it takes a certain level of like, you know, I don't know, not necessarily like maturity, but just like a certain level of like, you know, being open to learning and being open to being like, I like it when like, I'm not gonna lie, like I like normally, like, you know, I used to hate being wrong all the time, but like now, like me personally, like whenever I'm wrong or I find out like I could improve upon something, that I love that shit, because that means that I that means I'm not like on the top of my game. That means I can still fucking go. I can still grow. I can improve. I like it when I'm not like completely right, because that means like there's more for me to do and more for me to grow with. And so, shifting your mindset to being more like that, and instead of being like, when somebody points something out to you, instead of like putting your fingers in your ears and like saying, nope, I don't spend money on, like, that's not me. Like, instead of just being like, no, that's not possible. Like slow down and like listen and like actually try to improve upon yourself. And so, and I'll leave it with this is what I'll leave this with is like, instead of saying, I don't have the money for that thing, or I don't have the time for that thing, or whatever that is, like, however, like, if phrasing it that way, instead of saying I don't have the time or I don't have the money for that, start saying, my health is not a priority right now. Start saying, my fitness goals aren't a priority right now. Start saying that it's not a priority, and see how that feels, and let that sink in, and let me know like how that feels, because like that's what it is. That's what it comes down to. It's not that you don't have the time, and it's not that you don't have the money for the most part. It's because it's not a priority to you right now. And if you start saying it that way, you start saying like, my health is not a priority, that's going to sink in, and that's going to hit a little bit harder than the excusatory like phrases that you were saying beforehand. So anyways, that's my life for today. Don't say that you can't afford something when you're going out and spending money on stupid shit. And I'm not saying that it's stupid necessarily, because like, everybody likes to go out and pamper themselves here and there. Everybody likes to if you can, by all means, go for it. I'm just saying, maybe don't do it as often, so that way you can actually start putting your money towards things that are going to improve upon your life. So that's my life for today. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your Thursday. If you're watching this at a later time, hit me with the hashtag replay. Let me know that you saw this live. Let me know what your number one takeaway was down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I would love to hear it. So that's my life for today. Hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.